Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Johanna. For today's lunch in the office, I'm going to be attempting some Filipino spaghetti. And from what I've seen online, and even here in Hawaii, there's some restaurants that serve it. Filipino spaghetti is a red sauce based spaghetti, but it is sweeter. And for the ones that I've seen, there's usually like either ground pork or ground beef, and then either chopped up red hot dogs, ham, or all of the above. Now, last night we had barbecue, and luckily I have some leftover steak from dinner and a red hot dog. I'll try to insert a picture here. I don't know if that's just a uniquely Hawaiian or Asian thing. I don't know if you can find that in the mainland, but I've also seen it in Korean cookery, so it might be something that's just an Asian thing. And since there's lots of Asian influence here in Hawaii, maybe that's why we have it. Those are the leftover onions from last week, leftover bow tie. I won't be making all of those, but that's the stash I have. Because I'm using Prego, I'm going to sweeten it up. I'll start with 1 package of sugar. And yeah, I got that from McDonald's this morning. And then I'll go from there, because it definitely is a sweeter spaghetti-based sauce than you would typically get with just a regular Prego. I've got some sliced Kraft singles, because that's the only cheese I have. And then I've got some French fried onions. That's not typical, but I like to add some texture difference. So I'll assemble all of this. Again, no measurements, because I still haven't brought in a measuring cup from home. And then I'll bring you guys back when it's all assembled. Okay, so that's it assembled. If I had to hazard a guess, it's about a cup of water to about a cup and a quarter of spaghetti sauce. Again, because I'm going to be cooking the pasta in the sauce, that's why I thinned it out with water. I didn't add any additional seasoning, although I did add the packet of sugar. I will test it. I'm going to put it on low and cook it from there. I'll tell you guys when it takes, or how long it takes to get to the al dente stage. You guys know I like my noodles a bit chewier. At the end, I will add the cheese. I've learned from last week to bring a paper plate or something for the cover, because this drips a lot of water once you start cooking with it. And then I have an extra plate to hold my chopstick. Chopstick is there because I don't have anything non-plastic, and it'll melt with the heat of the Itaki. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. All right, guys, lunch for today is Filipino spaghetti, and it cooked for about 23 minutes. I did turn it on high for about 5 minutes. The rest of the time it was cooking on low. The noodles are a bit al dente, but I think sitting in there, it'll be fine. I did mix in the Kraft singles. I ended up adding another package of sugar. To be honest, I think it could be sweeter, not necessarily for me, but it could be sweeter if I'm remembering Filipino spaghetti I've had in the past. Here in Hawaii, and I'm assuming in the Philippines, you can actually already buy prepared Filipino spaghetti sauce, and again, it pulls a lot sweeter. I think brown sugar might have been a better idea, but I didn't have any. So like I've been doing, I will come back when I'm done and give you my thoughts. So final thoughts for today's lunch. It was quite delicious. Again, I don't know if I would have been able to tell you that it was any different from any other pasta that I've had. It certainly didn't pull any sweeter. Sugar typically, sorry, I'm a bit burpy. Sugar is typically added, if just in little amounts, to spaghetti sauce, at least in my house, because it bites or it cuts some of the acidity of the tomatoes. But I think in Filipino spaghetti, it actually is even more so, more because of the sweetness factor than to cut the acidity of the tomatoes. Now, I did start with a bottled spaghetti sauce, so maybe had I used tomato sauce or tomato paste and then gone from there, it would have tasted differently. I didn't look up a recipe. Basically, I just cobbled something together. And if you notice today, there was no burning. Now, when I was cooking it, I noticed that this part back here is where it bubbles the most. So that must be where the majority of the heating element is. using a chopstick to stir up the bottom does help. There's absolutely no stickage this time, so I don't know if it's because I added water first and then the rest of the ingredients. I don't know if there was just because I had enough liquids, if I cooked it for the majority on low, I'm not sure. And then I tried to give you a concept of scale, but if you look, sitting at my desk, so that's my keyboard right there, and that's the pot right there. Because one of my coworkers, when I was I had taken it to our break room to just dump all of this so I wouldn't have to dump it into my office trash. She had said it actually looked smaller than she thought. If I get a ruler and hopefully not cover it full of spaghetti sauce. It is about 6 1/4 in diameter. I think that's how you measure diameter. And it is a little over 5 inches tall. So yeah, about 6, a little over 6, and 5 inches tall, not accounting for the handle there. I guess because the pot gets hot, you need the handle, but it does make storage and carrying it around a little humbug. Lunch was delicious though. I definitely would eat that again. I would, although I like steak, I don't think it was really made for this kind of dish. It didn't taste as good as it did last night, but reheated steak generally doesn't. I actually could have done without the meat altogether, although I am a meatosaurus. I think just a cheesy pasta dish that was on a little bit on the sweet side would have been fine for lunch today. This might be the last for a while, as I will be working from home more so for the next at least week or two. As you may or may not know, Hawaii's numbers are just through the roof, triple digits pretty much every day for the last going on 3 weeks. And so we're moving more to a work from home thing. This is not something I would do at home because we have a stove there. And if I felt like cooking a full-on dinner or lunch, I would just do that on the stove. But I'd love to know what you guys think below. And as always, aloha.